What's up, guys?
Hey, just I guess for you and all this time of transition, Pete alluded to that there's kind of more been put on your shoulders. What are your responsibilities, I guess, through the playoffs and moving forward?
Yeah, well, I think, with Pete being elevated to the head coach, my role has changed a little bit, being the head coach of the defense. So I'm taking over the role of him for scripting for practice, meeting with the defensive staff and getting all those things ironed out so I can make life a little bit easier so Pete can drive that bus when it's game day. But that's changed just a little bit and meet with the defense a little bit more as a whole. I've taken over that role, but I've done it, a good bit throughout the season, too, when Pete's dealing with other things. So that's mainly the only thing that's changed. Pete's still going to call the plays, but I've just been, doing a lot of the scripting and getting things ready for practice.
Pete told us yesterday he'll move down to the field for the game. I was just curious, does that change anything from your perspective, or have you kind of decided where you'll be?
Yeah, well, we had a meeting the other day about it, and me and Pete kind of talked about him coming down. I thought at the beginning he thought about as an interim he may stay up, and I was like, no, brother, you got to come on down. It's your show now, right? But no, he's going to be down. I'm going to go ahead and stay down just because of the familiarity, with us as a staff, with all of us guys down on the field. We want to keep that going forward for the playoffs. And then maybe next year that may change when we may be going up in the box. But right now we want to keep it all the same so these guys can, have the familiarity with us on the football field.
Bryan, I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but Pete Golding, the head coach, what's he like?
Oh, man, a dog. That's what he's like. I mean, a great guy, an unbelievable person, unbelievable human being. I knew when I took this job, I've been knowing Pete for years. Me and Pete worked together at Delta State. This is one reason why I took this job, was because of him and to be able to come back home and be able to do this for my university. And having the opportunity to do that and knowing that it's a possibility that Lane could possibly leave and go somewhere and Pete could get elevated, I said this is a dream come true. To work with a guy that I've known, that probably the smartest football coach that I've ever worked with or ever known. It's been awesome. The kids are gravitating to him. He's doing it his way, and I think that's the only way for him to do it and just to be himself. But he's a great guy, a great coach for sure.
You kind of touched on that just then, but I know it's only been a handful of practices,
right.
And I'm not asking you to throw any shade
Yeah.
at his predecessor, but is there anything noticeably different on the practice field right now?
Well, I just think, from a time structure standpoint right now, especially moving forward, we've kind of moved practice just a little bit back. But we kept the practice more so the same, maybe have a walkthrough or two more than we had in the past. But, if it's broke, don't fix it. Don't try to fix it, right? But I think Pete's done a great job of just implementing the way that he wants to run his program, but also keeping, majority of it the same because it's been working.
Who will be the eyes up in the press box for the defense?
Yeah, well, we still got, most of our guys still up there, Brandon Turnage, Jay Shoup, Corey Sparkman, all those guys there. And then we'll add a couple more guys, from a veteran standpoint, at some point when we get these guys in that's, been coaching, Division I power four football, that can go up in the box and be able to, help us from that standpoint, from great eyes. But a lot of stuff you're able to see from the field. It's just so easy with the iPads, too, that helps. So we're not too worried about that, but we have some veteran guys that come in and be able to help us moving forward.
What are your concerns with the 3-week layoff from a defensive standpoint? I know in offense is timing and all that, but what about on defense?
I think just game speed, just game speed when you're looking at, the shifts and motion adjustments, how fast that happens on the football field, and just the play speed. We try to do as much good on good as we can, but nothing simulates like a game, because the adrenaline is flowing. The guys are, running and rapping and rolling and tackling and doing those things. You exert a little bit more energy. But that's the biggest thing, I think, is just the play speed of it. That's the one thing you just kind of worry about. Because we tackle in practice. So not too much worried about that, but more so worried about the play speed.
You mentioned just a little bit ago Pete being one of the smartest football coaches not asking for, how you guys are going to stop Tulane, but could you help me understand what Pete does so well, or what makes him so smart?
Well, I think he does a great job of thinking outside the box and understanding that, what you may see on film, you may not get. All right, so what are some things that they may do off of things that they've already done? And I think that's a big part of being a defensive coordinator. You want to try to think a step ahead, a couple of steps ahead to just try to see, all right, well, what are they going to try to do next off of this formation or off this action? That's one thing that I've learned from him, since working with him for 2 years. But he thinks outside the box, man, and always tries to stay a step ahead. But the biggest thing, he always has answers for answers. And I just like, man, you got it all in your book. He asked, what's your suggestion? I ain't got no suggestions because you know it all, right? But he's a great coach, great mind. But he understands the game inside and out and learned from one of the best in Nick Saban. And I think that's what he's been able to carry along with us here at Ole Miss.
With being able to have Tulane under your belt already this season, how do you kind of evaluate the position of learning from the film, but also trying to integrate just how to improve your guys in the secondary this way around the season?
Well, I think with Tulane, those guys have done a great job moving forward. Since our game, number one, they beat the ACC champion and won their conference. So they're a much better team, overall. And especially in this, on the outside of the receiver, and Jake has done a great job of distributing the ball to multiple receivers. It's not just one. You look at the yardage from those guys. A lot of them are so similar with 400, 500 yards, 300 yards, whatever it may be. But he does a great job distributing it, and I think we just got to make sure we stay focused and stay locked in and communicate on the back end to where we don't have any busted coverages. But it's been great these last couple of weeks of getting the guys back into the fold, but showing them how better Tulane has gotten, since we played them.
You may or may not have an answer to this question, but Pete talked about yesterday just the importance of winning the turnover margin against Tulane. From your perspective, what are some of the biggest keys for you to help win against Tulane this weekend?
I think the biggest thing is, number one, you got to control the quarterback, and make him make, different mistakes that, some things that he hasn't seen yet. So being able to control him is really, really key. But as far as the turnover margin, you have to be able to do that with hats to the ball. It's many guys get to the ball with hats to the ball, make sure our eyes at ball level, maybe get some of those balls out, stripping the ball, things of that nature. But showing the quarterback different looks that he may not have seen. And, just trying to get him to get our guys to disguise some things where he may throw us a ball or two. But when the opportunity comes our way, we got to make sure we make them. And our guys are practicing that way, and we do turnover circuits and things of that nature. But we have to win the turnover margin in order to win this football game. Other questions for Coach? Good. Appreciate you guys.